Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's a little bit here, and I would like to first apologize for not posting anything because I've been busy, and of course I had to quit my job because who needs money? Not me, apparently. So yeah, I'm back with the ever-promised Crested Gecko care sheet video, and let's get to it. Crested geckos, also known as the eyelash gecko because they have pretty eyelashes, or cresties as I would like to call them because they have crests on their head, you know, little crests, like a crown, kind of like that, or this long and exaggerated name that I'm not going to bother pronouncing because I have a bad speech impediment. Speech impediment. But yeah, they are a small prehensile tail gecko, which means they can use their tail as like another finger or hand or grasp onto things, basically, as shown in this video clip here. They originate on this small, not so small, island called New Caledonia, and it's off the east coast of Australia. But that's enough basic info right now. You don't want to know that. You can Google that yourself. But what you're really here for is the care sheet. Let's get to how we can care for them. Crested geckos are an arboreal species, meaning they like height. They like to climb. So they don't need a lengthy enclosure like leopard geckos. They need height. With that, you could use ZooMed, Exoterra, an aquarium flipped on its side. I can leave a link in description so you can see how to convert a regular aquarium into a vivarium. Or you could just use a plastic tote, or plastic tub as most people call it. But there's a catch. You need something that's around 15 to 20 gallons, because that is the minimum. You can maybe stretch 10 gallons, but I suggest you going bigger. Always go bigger because there's more room for them. They're going to be more happy with that. My nose itches. Anyways, I know you're saying, well, this is a small species. Why would I use something that's that big on a species that small? Well, calm down. Don't think like that. First of all, like I said, they're an arboreal species. They need height. They need for them to have a full, you know, happy life, because these animals can live to up to 20 years. This is a life companion, not some pet you get for a first time thing and you're like, oh, okay, I can handle like a tegu or something, or a crocodile. I don't know what you guys are gonna do after this, but still, if you get a juvenile or a baby, or if you're breeding and you have a hatchling, you can always use smaller enclosures. That makes them more secure and they have an easier time finding their food. That's what you want. Now with adults, you need them to have bigger space, of course. Now with that, crested geckos are a tropical species. They need humidity, and lots of it. Not like 100%, don't go too crazy, but they need about 90% at night because they are nocturnal and that's when they're most active. So of course, humidity would be best at night. Now, it cannot stay at 90% all the time. That is actually bad, and it can cause skin infections. They can have improper shed, or they won't shed. It might just stick onto them and stay onto them. It's just not good. You can get a respiratory infection, all that bad stuff. So I would highly recommend during the day when you're not there, let it go maybe 50 or 60%. And of course at night, spray again. You can spray in the morning and spray at night. But in the middle of the day, 50% or 60%. Now that we're done with humidity, temperature. Crested geckos are a room temperature species. They don't need heat. They don't need light. They're perfectly fine. Of course, you can let some natural sunlight, but they don't need a lamp. They don't need a heat lamp. They don't necessarily bask, but I know there's some people that say they do, and of course it'll help with digestion, but no, don't go the extra mile. Don't go crazy. They need room temperature, which is between 72 to 79 or 78 Fahrenheit. I don't know what it is in Celsius because I'm American, and I don't know that whole fraction. I can put it right here if that helps for you guys. But anyways, room temperature, that's what they need. And of course, during the summer months, make sure it does not go over 80 Fahrenheit, because then of course they will overheat, they will stress out, they'll stop eating, and of course potentially die to that. You don't want that, I don't want that. Now during the winter or cold months, It can drop below 70 because on New Caledonia, it does drop, even though it roughly stays around the same temperature each year because, you know, it's a tropical island. But still, they can handle cooler temperatures, though I wouldn't go past maybe 65 Fahrenheit or this in Celsius. There are some things that can help you detect or read off what temperature and what humidity is. What's good, in my opinion, what's more accurate, is a digital hydrometer and thermometer that you can put a probe in the cage so you can see, you know, how their place is doing. Now, Petco or any pet chain store will say, hey, or the employees will say, hey, these dials work, these paper dials, don't use them, they're not accurate whatsoever, they're garbage. Throw them away, get a digital one that you can even use a Walmart brand digital hydrometer and thermometer that you would keep outside. Just set it somewhere. I would preferably say maybe in the middle of the tank, that way, because you know hot air rises and blah blah blah. But the middle usually would help, you know, determine the proper humidity and whatnot, and it can get wet so it won't completely die out on you. Crested geckos are a frugivore species, meaning they eat fruit. They're not strictly insectivores or insect-based animals. They can have insects. Here's a long list that they can have, but I would preferably say maybe once or twice a week, because if they eat only insects, that's not good. I would suggest taking them off insects until they eat the proper food that they eat. Now with me, I feed my geckos Pangea, Gecko Pro, Rapace, all that stuff. It's scientifically formulated for crested geckos because you can't just feed them a ripe mango or a overly ripe papaya because they're not in New Caledonia, so they're not going to get everything that they need. Now with all these brands, they are scientifically formulated. They have all the nutrients that they need that they would get in the wild. They have all the fruit that they like that they get in the wild. And of course, most of them, or if not all, do have insect meal, which is good for them, meaning they still get their insects. That way they don't lose all the calcium. And that's one thing with insects. When you do feed insects, make sure to dust them in calcium with D something. I'll leave it right here. D something. But yeah, don't overfeed them insects because they can get some really bad diseases like MDB, metabolic, oh my god. Here's the name. I just can't today. So yeah, there's that. It's a disease. It's where their bones get brittle and they start to not work. There's no cure for it. They live with it forever. I've heard some cases where some do get a little bit better, but of course it's a permanent thing, which sucks. We don't want that. What's another common thing is floppy tail syndrome. That happens. That usually means you don't have enough, you know, foliage in their tank or anything like that. Honestly, just like a couple bamboo rods or throw in a few sticks and some suction cup plants in there, they'll be completely fine. They need to use their tail, so they'll be completely fine for their enclosure. Now, with their enclosure, you don't have to go above and beyond. You don't need a packet full of plants or anything like that. You can go bioactive. I personally don't because it's a lot of money, and to me, it's more visual than what's really needed for your gecko. I mean, of course, it's more natural, so they might like it, but all you really need is paper towel for the bottom of the tank, some plants they can hide in, some bamboo rods or sticks that, you know, like suction cup or magnetically stick to the sides of the tank, a feeding ledge, some fake plants, some, you know, fake hanging plants, that way they have some places to jump on. That's all you really need. Okay, there's another question people like to ask is cohabiting. Can you put two crested geckos together? The simple answer, no. I don't suggest it, and I would not suggest any new person or new crested gecko owner that's coming into the hobby to do that. There's too many risks. You don't know what to look for. It's too much. It's too much for a new person to handle. Now, breeders, on the other hand, I know there's a lot of breeders that do cohab their females. Females can be possible, but there is a chance of fighting. They take over hide spots. They take the food from each other. You never know what's gonna happen. It could be bad. They can rip each other's tails off and all that crazy stuff. Not to mention, forgot to mention this, Crested Gecko's tails, they come off for literally any reason. You sneeze, they throw it off. Don't worry about it. There's some that are tailless, their tails don't grow back. It's completely fine, don't freak out. Anyways, back on to cohabbing. Males, don't ever cohab a male with another male together. That is just a recipe for disaster, and you're gonna end up with maybe 1 or 2 dead geckos. You don't want that. It's too much stress. They fight, they pick on each other. It's just a mess. Don't do it. Female and a male, yes, but only when you're breeding, because the male is a very horny mother effer and he will breed the female to death. That would be bad, and I know you don't want that to happen to you, so imagine what your female gecko is thinking. And of course, you don't want any deformities to happen with the babies and all that. And of course, you don't want to end up with a lot of babies, because they'll have a clutch of 2 eggs every 30 days. That's a lot of babies. It's too much. I think that just about covers all of the Crested Gecko know-how. If I missed anything, please leave a comment and I will try my best to answer it. I'm still pretty new. I've only been in the hobby for a year and I'm already starting breeding. But if I missed anything, I will be sure to add it in the description, or I can probably do like a Crested Gecko care sheet extras for you guys in case if I missed anything that's of importance to you guys. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.